Today, I'm going to walk you through 7 unique zaps or automations that you can implement inside of your business to see massive growth while working less. So I'm going to show you some of these automations here. It's a little bit higher level, so if you're looking for a beginner video, this is probably not the one, but I'm going to walk you through some of the automations that really help me make a lot more money, and because it's automated, I don't have to actually do anything. So here's some of the examples that I have, but I'm going to show you the more specific ones right here. So one of the first automations that we use, one of our most popular ones, is going to be the actual application form. So whenever we get an application here for our program, a couple of different things happen. So first, we get a submission inside of Jotform. This will then send a message inside of Slack. And so this is going to give us the name of the lead, their email, their phone number, so that we can contact them if we need to. And then it's also going to attach the application itself. All right, so it's going to attach all the information that we ask inside of the actual application. So it'll have the name, the email, the phone, different answers. And so you can do this by actually attaching it. I'll show you how this works. You can do this by attaching it as a thread. So basically, you'll grab the thread information from the previous step, and this will actually attach it as a thread underneath Slack, basically. So then you can just click on the actual message itself. This will pop up. So that works great. And then I actually check their email first. So we actually add them into our CRM, but I don't want to just add random people that are either funnel hacking me or just breaking the system. So we actually verify their email first before we actually add them and continue the process. So here we use Never Bounce. This works great. It's a very simple process. It doesn't cost that much money either. It just checks to verify. And then if it does come back as valid, now we proceed. It'll only proceed if the email is valid. From here, we actually invite them into our free program. So I have a paid program, exclusive program within school. It has all of our trainings, our paid community, our onboarding, or not our onboarding calls, our coaching calls, and we have everything inside of school for our paid program, but I also have a free program that guides people through the stages of 0 to 10K a month. And so I want to build a lot of connection with our new leads that are applying to work with us. And so I give them an opportunity to learn more about us, how we operate, give them a lot of free value first, and really warm them up very quickly. So I invite them to our free program. So all automated, right? We just get them in the application. As soon as they get the application, a few minutes later, they'll receive an email to get access to our free program. And the free program has a lot of different trainings. We also have an engaging community inside of there as well. If someone buys from you, ideally, they need to go through at least 7 hours of content. So we can do that by inviting them to our free program. So, and you can have some kind of version of this automat. Obviously, if you don't have a free program, this might not apply, but you could also send them a lead magnet that you have. You could send them a link to your VSL as well. So basically just adding some kind of warm-up, I think, works really well here when they apply, basically. And so then we add them as a contact. And depending on the type of lead, we're basically going to add them as a different type of lead, basically. So are they qualified? Do they have no money? Or are they bad fits, basically? So that's how we then categorize this. We're going to have different path rules based on did they fit the criteria. So this is an old offer that we had when it came to credit. So they needed to have good credit and they needed to have the finances. So if they had not 0 to 5K and they didn't have bad credit, then we validated them, basically. If they had bad credit, disqualified. If they had no money, different process. We'd send them to our setter, basically. So then you can basically categorize your leads, and depending on the actual lead quality, you can either add them to only your newsletter, because if they're a bad fit, you don't want to just toss them away either. They might become a good fit in the future. So you can also add them to a very long-term sequence, ideally at least your newsletter if you have one. If they're a good fit, you then want to add them to your sales pipeline so you can stay on top of them, and you can create different automations to then warm them up before the call. So that one works really well. The next one we have here is going to be our onboarding funnel. So with this, we use most of our CRM is inside Go High Level. And so if you use Go High Level, you can set up the beginning of the automation with a webhook So basically you can send information from Go High Level to different platforms, and in this case Zapier. So right here we catch a webhook from Go High Level. We will then send a Slack message inside of Slack. So I use Slack basically as our main hub so that I can basically track everything happening inside of the company. I can communicate with some of our one-on-one clients and with our team, and I have a whole view of what exactly is happening. I can see what payments are coming through, everything. So I think it's great to have everything connected through Slack. I basically don't have to hop on anything else. I know exactly what's happening. I have a pulse just by going on Slack. So we have this here. We then send an onboarding email. So I do like using the direct email through SendGrid on this because the emails come out a lot sexier. I have a lot of different email automations inside of Go High Level, but they're a lot more basic unless you're using the newsletter features. And so in that case, you can add a little bit more. But here I'm able to attach different information about the client itself. So you'll see I can have the first name, for example. So I'll just edit and add the first name. Makes it very easy. It's like somewhat personalized. And these come out a lot better. So I just used ChatGPT to basically build this out. I told it what I was looking for, added the colors I wanted, and it came out great just like this. So now whenever we have a new client come in, we catch the webhook, we have that onboarding message, we then send them the onboarding email. And so on the onboarding email, we're gonna send them a link to an onboarding funnel. So that's basically a step-by-step page on exactly what you need to do to get fully onboarded with the program. And then we add them into our system. So basically we just grab their name, we create a new file, new folder. We then grab their application from JotForm so that we can actually go back and better understand what type of clients are signing up. We can look back at the data. And then we just upload everything. So it'll go find it, and then it'll upload. So that's that process for onboarding new clients. So basically, now we just send them the onboarding email. Now we also added them to the system, and it's all happening in the background. The next one here is actually adding the contract as well. So we send an agreement, very basic agreement. And here we have the DocuSign come in. And then we will filter it based on, I might have different contracts being sent out. So here we just make sure it's actually the client contract. And then I asked ChatGPT to basically get the name of the client and format it for us. So ChatGPT can do so much inside of Zapier. It's kind of a game changer. But basically, I just give them a simple prompt. So my name's Alec. Get the client name from the following text and send back just a name in a clean format. Remove any extra characters, such as a middle initial. Format should be just John Smith. So because for whatever reason, DocuSign can't just give us the one client name. It has to give them both together. So I basically filter out my name and I just get the client information back. So then just simple information right there. I think that's just like the basic stuff. And then again, I'm getting notified inside of Slack what exactly is happening. Okay, so now it's just a clean name formats. We're gonna delay it for 1 day just to make sure there's no like issues or what have you. And then we just add that to the folder. Okay, it's gonna go find the client name, the folder, because we created that back here, right? We just created the folder. It's automatically gonna add the file in here. So you could have your virtual assistant do this, but ideally whenever you think of tasks, you wanna first try to automate, next you delegate, and then you decide on the rest of the tasks is it actually important or not. If it's not, then just get rid of it. Actually, you should do that at the very beginning. Is it important or not? If it isn't, just get rid of it. If it is, go through that. The very last step, now you're only doing the tasks that you need to do. So that's how we set this up. And then we have our specific clients onboarding. So we have two different tiers in our program, we have the community and the one-on-one. So this is for a community client right here. So first we would catch the webhook. So we decide when we add them to our Go High Level CRM based on their tier. And then based on this, it's going to send a webhook. Again, notification inside of Slack. We then send them an email specifically for this actual program. So it's going to give them different accesses and different onboarding steps. So on this one, we're really just actually inviting them to fill out the form and the onboarding form. And this one, we actually send them the onboarding steps actually. And then we come back into here. we're going to create a separate folder, and then we actually add them to then our client database, because most of our clients, they're on a specific time frame, and we can also add them to keep track of all of our clients that are inside the system. And so now we can see exactly what type of client it is, when does their time expire, who are they, right? So it's all just automated. So now the client database is also filling up as well, and we can keep track of that. So yeah, that's how we do that. So now we have the client folders populating, we have the client database populating. Again, you could delegate this, but why delegate when you can automate, so that you don't have any mistakes? It's happening all day, every day. It doesn't cost you any money as well. Might be a couple cents here and there, but that's basically it. So that's more on the client side of things. So we had leads at first, then my favorite client automations. And so now we have more about the content side of things. So I thought these were pretty interesting as well. So I have a lot of different things in place when it comes to my content. And thankfully, I have great automations and also a great team to take away a lot of the workload that I have when it comes to my content system. And so they help me with a lot of different factors, and this is what the content system looks like basically. So whenever I record some content, it'll be either short format, which will just be like a reel, a short, what have you, or it'll be a long form video just like this one. So I'll actually upload it into my content folder. So I have a specific content folder, and this is for all the raw videos, unedited, just pure, ready to go for edits. So basically, I'll upload it into the specific folder, my content folder, and then Zapier is going to pick it up basically and find that we have a new file inside of the folder. So here, I'll show you what this actually looks like for the action step. So it's very, very simple, right? Event, new file and folder, trigger, content folder, right? So very straightforward. And then now we're going to basically decide, is it a long form video or a short form video? Because I want to notify my team based on that, and because we might have different steps in place for that itself. But basically right here, very simply, so this is something that I found, and so it's somewhat arbitrary, but it seems to work, okay? So obviously if you have a long form video, the file size is going to be much, much greater than a short form. And so I just looked it up, and basically this is about the number that I found. So I think that's like bits. So you have megabits, gigabits, and so this is like 200 million maybe. Just count that out. But basically, depending on the size of the file, if it's a very large file, it's going to be considered a YouTube video. If it's a short file, it'll be considered a short form or a smaller file. So from here, we then send a channel message, you guessed, and this will be sent inside of my content channel. And so here it's going to directly say long form, link to the file, so that my editing team can get notified the second I upload a video, which is great, right? So that they're always on top of it. There's no delay. I don't have to like remember to send them a message or anything. It's all right here. So I just call it the content machine. I really don't recommend attaching the links to the zaps. I could have mentioned that earlier, but it just makes it so busy. I just always turn those off. I then attach the image of the URL, so that I'll just give you like a cool picture of like what it is. So it's not really necessary, but it just looks nice. And they just get notified basically. And then I also have an editing board. So I'll probably create a separate video here for Notion and how I use Notion. But Notion's great. You can basically create all kinds of different boards for a lot of different things. You can do all kinds of automations to keep track of different projects. I even have client trainings on here as well. It's just very easy to use. It's very cheap as well. Whenever you have team members, honestly, just add them as shared guests. And I only spend $10 a month as of right now inside of Notion. I was using Monday before, but that was costing me about almost $1,200 a year. I brought it all the way down to $120 a year, so about a tenth of the price. And I can still do the same automations. I would say that Monday automations are definitely much better, but Notion still works plenty. So inside of Notion, I basically have a board. So I'm going to create a database item. I created a table. And so it's inside the video editing. We have the video title. I categorize them as either long form or short form. And then I attach the raw link. And it's a status to do. All right. And then I have a separate column for that. They can actually add the edited video as well, so that I can then Go in there, I can see which videos are ready for me to confirm basically. And then I'll either confirm it or I'll send it back for revision. And I can basically just hop on this board at any time and see what kind of progress is happening, what videos do I need to check out. And then when it's ready, we have the next one right here. So that's basically what happens with a long form. If it's a short form, if it's a smaller file, it'll say new reel, same gist, right, with the file link. And then inside of here, we have short form. That's the only difference basically. So that's how I do that. The next one is going to be content description. So this is something that's pretty interesting. It can work. You have to really play with it, but this is basically what it looks like. So whenever I have a new file, so this is basically going to be for my shorts. For my long form, I just write it out. It doesn't take me that long, and it's very important to get these nailed down. So actually, when they're ready, I'll actually upload them myself and add the quick description to it. But for shorts, we're posting so many shorts on so many different platforms. I don't want to really think about the content description. And basically, I have my virtual assistant, my executive assistant, that posts all my short forms for me across all different platforms. We're posting on Instagram, on Facebook group, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube for the shorts. So we're posting it everywhere, and she does all that for me. And ideally, again, moving our way down that delegation or automation delegation in yourself, I try to automate as much as possible when it comes to moving the files around and giving them the tasks. And then the second part is the delegation, which is just posting the video, which really isn't that complicated. But I'm trying to automate also the description part. So basically what we do is that whenever the file is ready, she is asked to basically upload it to the folder. So whenever I confirm it basically on this content board, I can create a training about this content board as well. If you want me to record a training on the content board, just comment content board down below. But whenever I validate a video, basically she gets a task and she then has to upload that video to this one right here if it's a short form. And then this Zapier is going to pick it up. So we have a new file inside of this folder. We're then going to convert this file. Okay, we're going to convert this file with Cloud Convert into an MP3. And then we're going to get a transcription from OpenAI, which is basically ChatGPT. It's going to just transcribe the audio file. Okay, we're getting a little bit higher level here. And then we're going to ask for a description, basically. So this is where it gets kind of complicated. You want to really play with it because most of the time when we were posting this, I get these really nerdy and weird captions. So you've probably seen a lot of these captions on my Instagram or especially my LinkedIn, because she also adds a description for my YouTube videos for that. But they're pretty quirky and funny and all that. But I just try to automate this process basically because the actual video itself is much more important than the caption. But you want to play with this. So as of right now, I'm just trying to sound a little bit more masculine and stand out. I'm trying not to sound so nerdy and awkward basically. So we have create a short social media post description from the following script. I'm running a business consulting company, but I want the videos to be about the subject at hand. Make it at most 15 words. They're spitting out really long ones. Never use emojis. I don't like using emojis in the captions. You can also add some hashtags as well. And then it'll grab the script from the transcription that we got. And this will only get us transcription if it's an MP3 file. So that's why everything kind of works together. And then I try to give it a description of something basic that I'd want. I really don't need a very long caption. Again, I don't think it's as important as the actual video itself. I mean, it depends on what type of poster you're posting, obviously, but that's what it is. Assisted instructions. There we go. That's it. That's probably the most complicated part of this one, is really just playing with it. You can then add different files, or you can test this and rerun it, right? So you can really just try to nail down the messaging and just keep giving it different prompts basically. But that's what I've seen to work somewhat okay right now. And then we have the notification basically that this video is ready with a description. Okay, so we'll have the video link and the description for my assistant, so she can just go and grab it right here. And then we also add it inside of our database because I have a separate posting database for my shorts. And so she's able to track where has she actually posted the videos across all the platforms that I just mentioned. We have a very large Rolodex now, basically of all the videos that I've recorded. And she also has a pipeline of videos that she can post. If we're behind on one platform, she can catch up on it because she can track everything. So that's how we do this. Hopefully that makes sense. It's a little bit more complicated, obviously, but hopefully that gives you some ideas right there. And then I just want to give you one quick idea on how we sometimes automate our client tasks as well, or how I automatically give my assistant tasks. So again, automate, delegate, and sometimes it can work together as well. So right here I have a certain section of our program that has a link to request a website template because we're helping our clients grow their company. And at a certain stage, once you have things that are working with your ads, with your machine, you want to ramp stuff up. That's the fastest way to get past 50K a month is if you have access to more capital to spend more money in ads. If you have good ads that work, all you want to do is just pour more fuel on the fire. And so we also help our clients get access to some bank financing. And to get access to bank financing, you do need to have certain things set up, notably a website. Most of our clients are running online coaching businesses, so you probably have one already. But if you don't, we also provide a very basic website template. So with that, we just ask them to fill out a form, very basic form. Once the form is filled out, we get this notified inside of our client fulfillment tab within Slack. Again, I can keep track of everything happening in our company within Slack. If you want a Slack training specifically, request that in the comments below by posting Slack training. But we just have a very basic message right here. And then I add that to my exec to-dos, basically. So my executive assistant, she gets all these very small and basic tasks, but I don't have to ask her, hey, don't forget to do this, hey, do this. It just automatically populates inside of her board. She can just log in the morning, and she'll have a bunch of things to do that she can work on, and I don't have to worry about it, basically. So that's how we set this up. Those are my 7 favorite Zaps that we have here. I probably save easily over 10 hours a week just by having all this stuff set up. And by pairing that together with my different delegations with my team, I save so much time. I can focus on the high impact tasks, such as recording videos like these and working with my clients. So hopefully this helps you out. Let me know if you have any questions down below. If you want to see more videos like this on how to automate and create more systems inside of your business so you can make a lot more money, be sure to subscribe so you can follow and see more. Otherwise, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.